Hello, welcome to Fort Green Hall once again. Don't worry, it's not Marty Feldman from Young Frankenstein. I thought it'd be fun to have a look at different hats through time, starting from the Middle Ages, ending with the Stuarts really. I've got the ubiquitous medieval hood on at the moment with the long tail. It's called a Lirry Pipe hood, and this was very popular for a couple of hundred years. It's very practical, nice and warm. I don't think it enhances my look at the moment really though, but there you go. But it's quite a useful hood. It can be turned and worn in many different ways. One of the ways, it might explain, excuse me, wow, it might explain some of the later period hats. So not only can it be worn as a hood, you can roll it up with the head opening there like that. It became fashionable to wear it a bit like a hat, well, exactly like a hat. And you've probably seen these medieval hats. There we go. And this evolves into something, excuse my hair, called a chaperon. A purpose-made hat to echo the hood style. You've seen these in medieval films, perhaps, fairy tale illustrations, that kind of thing. So that's a very fashionable hat from the Middle Ages. When we get to the Tudor period, we have the good old statute cap. There we go. And it's called a statute cap because there is a hat law, or a statute at the time. If you're not wearing your hat in church on a Sundays, you could be fined so many shillings. The idea of that is to get people wearing woolen hats a lot of the time, and therefore wearing them out and having to buy new ones. So in a way, it helps the wool industry at the time. England made lots and lots of money out of wool, sending it abroad. We had the best wool at the time, and lots of bolts of cloth were sent to Europe to be made into clothes. So there's a hat law, a statute. So this is your statute cap. Men and women wore these in the Tudor period. Women could wear them with a coif underneath, the little white cap that goes underneath, because they should actually cover all their hair up in Tudor times. You don't want their hair showing. Only certain types of ladies at the time showed their hair. Unmarried ladies and other types of ladies. In Stuart times, Tudor times, we can also wear the Monmouth cap. There we go. This is a knitted cap. Most of these caps are knitted. Knitted on 4 needles apparently. So there's a skill. And then they're felted and fulled to give it this felt-like appearance. This is similar to a broad-brimmed hat at the time, an expensive one. There's a portrait of Peter the Great, the Tsar of Russia, who came over in the 17th century to learn how to build ships. He was really into shipbuilding. There's a portrait of him wearing a cap like this. So they're sometimes called Peter the Great hats. Churchmen and scholars, teachers would have worn a cap a bit like this one. You've probably seen them in portraits of Thomas Cranmer, Thomas Cromwell, that kind of thing. All the archbishops from the Tudor times. And doesn't it look like a mortarboard? It's just missing the other bit. And then we get to the felt hat, which you're very familiar with from the Cavaliers and Roundheads, that kind of thing. There we go. So this is round about 1620s, James I, very high crown on top of the head, front pulled back and pinned. Very rich people had a nice little pin or a brooch or something like that. But they are quite expensive hats at the time. Common people would carry on wearing the cap. So all through the Stuart period, it just changes slightly till you get to the end of the Stuart times. The crowns go up, the crowns go down in fashion, sides folded up. And then you get to the end of the 17th century and people start to pull three sides up, and you start getting your 18th century tricorn. So just a bit of fun. There are lots more different hats at the time. Obviously there's helmets for war and things like that, but most people would always wear a cap, and it wasn't rude to carry on wearing your hat or your cap while you're eating your dinner as well. Times change, fashions change. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go and get a comb now and comb my hair out. Okay, bye.